Oh boy, the Lorraine 50 ton. A vehicle that I'm glad Wargaming put into the Black Friday coupon area, but I'm also a little sad because this is a vehicle that I spent over 100,000 gold to try and get my hands on. A lot of you may have noticed that my account a couple weeks ago had like 80k gold on it, and now it has 16,000 gold, and that's after spending $240 to get the 116 F3. Well, what happened was I saw the Lorraine 50 ton was added into the mystery certificates. So I spent a boatload of gold on crates to try and get the Lorraine out of mystery certificates because I know a lot of other people that got it out of them. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll get lucky. It's the same drop chance as every other tank. So I've probably opened about 30 mystery certificates in total now, and I got 0 Lorraines. I've gotten multiple tier 10s, multiple tier 9s, 8s, 7s, and the only tank I want is this, and unfortunately I didn't get it. So that's where all my gold went. Basically about $200 worth of gold down the drain, and then Wargaming released the vehicle in part of the Black Friday event. Now I'm glad because it's a vehicle I didn't have, so I still got a tank I didn't have, which is kind of sweet. And in today's video, I am going to be playing in the Lorraine 50 ton, showcasing its capabilities and my personal opinions about it on the battlefield. Now, the Lorraine it's a decent tank, but it's definitely not what I would say anything spectacular. The turret armor is really good. It's basically not possible to pen frontally through the turret. But the problem is the hull armor is absolutely terrible. So you've got this great turret on this terrible hull. And sure, you might think to yourself, oh, that's easy, just hide the hull, play it like a Concept 1B, but it's a very tall tank, you know? And because of that, it's still sometimes very hard to actually hide that hull armor. Not to mention the vehicle's damage per shot is on the lower side for a tier 9 heavy at only 380, but it does feature tungsten, so you can increase that to like 430-ish, which isn't too bad. Overall, the Lorraine has some great strengths, and it has some big downsides. The major problem I have with this vehicle is the on-movement dispersion. I don't know if we'll see it in this game, but it plays like the AMX M4 in Tier 10, where when you move the gun, it just goes... And it's very annoying, because this is a tank that I would like to be fairly accurate, but unfortunately, it's just not as accurate as I would hope. So what are we going to do here? Well, I am going to make my way into this bush right in front of me. And, well, we're going to see if we can get some shotlers into anybody that tries poking. Sometimes I like to poke this spot too, but we're just going to wait here for now. This is a pretty safe position, and poking this spot, the problem is people here can usually spot you, so we're just going to wait. We have 1, 2, 3 heavies, and we also have a tank destroyer behind me. The G-Soar's off on the other flank. We can see 2 mediums spotted already. The problem is, well, if our shark isn't detected, then they're not over here, so I will help out the shark. Well, they are over here, but I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. Interesting. Well, I'm going to maneuver behind the Bisante, and we are going to put on our tungsten and get a nice shot in, and then I'm going to pop on my adrenaline as well. This is obviously where having the very solid DPM this vehicle does feature, paired with tungsten, allows you to just rip out damage. I mean, we can see with both my tungsten and adrenaline activated, I actually out-reload this, bruh, we're getting hit by an autoloader. Very cringe. Alright, well, we're not going to be able to hit that T-54E2, and at this point, with the autoloader shooting at me, not exactly sure even what the autoloader was, but, it was a Skoda. I thought for a moment it was a TSL-7, but it was like, that intro clip felt very fast, and it was very fast, because it was a Skoda T27. Alright, well, let's make our way over to the enemy E75. Of course, we're getting shot at again, but that's okay. We're going to aim it on the lower plate of the E75. We get a nice 424, and the shark gets the clear. So far, we've done 1,700 damage, and we've only bled about 600, which is a pretty good trade. Now we are going to push the waffle, and I'm just going to push him as fast as I can. Here we go, and kerplunk. Ooh, a nice 462 roll, taking that waffle down a substantial amount of his health. The one nice thing about 380 damage per shot is that you reload a bit faster, which means you can get shells quicker into your opponent. So we're already up to 2,500 now. We can see the enemy shark in mid, and I'm going to move over here. Let's see if we can get a shell into the enemy shark. Bonk, there you go, 326. not bad. We're getting out damage. We're still alive. We're still fairly healthy, but it's not looking great for our team at this point. I will admit that myself. All right, let's just get the clear into that shark. That was a pretty nice snap there. I'm gonna be honest. I don't mean that to my own horn, but I'm surprised that shell actually ended up hitting. All right, well, let's see. Let's see if anybody tries pushing up over here. The ideal play is to just wait for something to roll up on this. But see that on-movement dispersion I was talking about? Like, this gun just blooms a lot when you move it. And because of that, it can make it very, very annoying to hit shots sometimes. So, we have the TSL. And apart from that, they have a Skoda T27, which I would assume is also over here, to be completely honest. Now, while this vehicle is not the fastest, it is still fairly fast, and obviously, with a Tier 9 gun, we can deal with anything's armor quite effectively. So we're now going to push the Skoda T27. I hope he doesn't jump off, because if he does, it's going to be a little bit annoying. Not able to HE him, but 376 is pretty good. And let's see, what are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna shoot me for a decent amount, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. We're gonna load an HE on your side, get a nice 515 juicer, and the Yo bounces you. Well, that's pretty sad. Okay, the Yo did get the clear. I mean, it's not like this game would have ever been a struggle, but pretty good game overall. So we can see where the Lorraine feels nice, but also where it might not be the best. Like, you can see, once you're on flat ground, everything pens you. Tier 8s are going to cut through you as if your armor doesn't even matter. But, because the tank has decent mobility, good damage per minute, and solid turret armor, you can also do quite a good job on a ridgeline. So we ended up dealing 4,400 damage, acing the vehicle, and putting ourselves an additional 168,000 credits up. Alright, well sweet. I'm on my main account too, so I'm trying to get back up to that 1 billion credits. I've been there in the past, obviously, but it's been a while since I've been at that many credits, especially because, you know, the press account that I play on every now and then. But we're going to keep going here. And, well, let's hope that our second game is just as good. I have not played any battles on the Lorraine 50-ton on this account yet. So what that means is the first 5 through 8 games I play are guaranteed to be top tier. So you're going to see I'm fighting tier 8s again. It's always like that for the first like 5 to 8 games, depending on how you do, which is nice. It's a good way for you to get adjusted to the tank you're playing. I'm actually glad Wargaming has a mechanic like this. So it's nice because also I don't have to stress about going up against tier 10s in this video. So what are we doing here? We got an AMX 5120 standard Bewaffenträger Panzer 4, and then we have an AMX 5100, Arak 105, Scorpion G, and Type 87. So in other words, 3 heavies, 2 mediums, and 2 tank destroyers. So I am going to use the decent mobility this tank has and head over to the hull down ridge. Personally, I think this tank should go 50. I think it goes like 42, which isn't bad, but I don't know. I just feel like for the armor it has, it should go 50, because at this point it wouldn't make too much of a difference on the overall capabilities. Now, that Arak, I might be able to roll around here and get a shell into. Let's see. Aiming, and we load in a high explosive. Chonk, 486. Yeah, that's why you don't stop to shoot people. I don't know what to say, bro. I don't. Alright, let's see. We got the Scorpion. I'm going to put on Tungsten. We're going to load HE. Oh, 586. That is where Tungsten feels incredible. When you're able to get out this high explosive pens, I mean, you just ignore armor completely. That shell did not go entirely where I wanted it to. Now, this tank does have 10 degrees of gun depression, if I'm not mistaken, which means you can work ridgelines pretty darn well. And, well, okay. You see what I mean by the gun, though? Like, it's just not accurate. You would think that this gun would have decent accuracy, but it just doesn't. It's weird. It really is weird, because the tank doesn't have too much going for it in terms of armor, apart from the turret, as I mentioned before. I don't know. I just find it a little goofy that it doesn't have good on-move values, or its base dispersion can be a little bit wonky at certain times, too. We'll just load a gold shell. I'm going to need 2 more shots anyway to kill this guy, so it wouldn't really make a difference, and I'd rather pen my shot than risk it bouncing on some goofy angular. So we have the Scorpion G all the way on the flank. We load another HE. God, this thing's HE freaking chunks. It really does. This thing's a beast in that regard. Alright, well, Scorpion bounces me. We get an easy clear in his tank. And we have the Waffenträger Panzer IV over here, who we are obviously going to push. I wonder if this is the same waffle from last game. Oh, no, it is not the same waffle. We get a nice 407 HE. While this tank obviously isn't going to do as much damage to vehicles as Small Liner, it still will do more because its HE damage, I think, is 500. And the standard is obviously 380, so it's a 20 damage increase on average firing HE than it is firing standard, which is pretty dang sweet. So we have the standard B right over here, and no more standard B. And then I'm going to push this AMX. Well, actually, trying to think of what's a better play to make here. What I'm thinking is, yeah, I'm going to push this AMX. We're going to put on my tungsten. Here we go, tungsten on, easy shell. And then after that, I'm going to make my way over to this AMX, and we'll see if I can get a shell into him as well. Come over here. I know you want to get shot. I hope he didn't cut through this little route here. No, he didn't. Well, there you go. Nice 421 damage shell. I'm not entirely sure where you run into, because, like, it really wouldn't matter where you go. You're going to die either way. Yeah, you're going to run right to the S&V and dead. All right. I don't care. We got to win, and I did over 3,000 damage. And those are really the only two criteria I need to be happy when I play this game. So, two pretty good battles for the Lorraine 50-ton. It's a solid tank. It's nothing amazing, but as you can see, the gun is nice. It has solid DPM, the turret armor's good, and it has gun depression, and decent mobility. Like, it does a lot of things very well. It's just that I feel like the gun could be a little bit better on its on-movement dispersion. But I like the tank. I think it's actually pretty fun. It's why I really wanted to get it. It has great DPM, and it's got pretty good heat pen as well. It's just a fun vehicle. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Lorraine 50-ton. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.